Okay, we are live and unmuted.
Madam Chair.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to see you here. I would like to call this meeting to order.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we are concerned about your health, and we are committed to do all we can do to reduce the risk and spread of COVID-19. Governor Ralph Northam declared a state of emergency in Virginia on Thursday, March the 12th, in response to the virus. In light of this action, we have decided to conduct this meeting using electronic communications. In accordance with Chapter 1289 of the 2020 Acts of Assembly, as the COVID-19 emergency makes it impracticable or unsafe to assemble in a single location. Delegate Rasool. I see you. You may be on mute.
I'm here.
There you are. Good afternoon. Delegate Hurst.
I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Delegate Wilt. And Delegate Wilt, if you are here, you may be on mute. Okay, I received a note from Senator Edwards. He will not be here today. Senator Deeds. And Senator Deeds is saying you may be on mute. Okay, Delegate Wilt, I do see you. I think right now you're not connected to audio. Senator Pillion?
I'm here.
Very good. Good afternoon. Mr. Friedman?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Mr. Bestvich?
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Maslany?
I'm here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Mr. Morris?
Good afternoon. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Mr. Green? And Mr. Green, you may still be on mute because I know I've talked to you earlier.
I'm sorry, I was. I'm here. Good afternoon.
It's quite all right. Mr. Smoot?
Good afternoon. I'm here.
Mr. Merrill?
Present. Happy holidays and glad to be
Happy
back.
holidays. Commissioner Britch?
Monique, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Director Mitchell did email me and she said she wouldn't be able to make it. So the roll call is complete. Madam Chair?
Thank you for that, Ronique. Now we need to have any discussion of minutes from the meeting from October 23rd and approval of those minutes. Is there any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of October 23rd, properly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, minutes are approved. Next will be the discussion on the meeting requirements that have been in place for this committee. Ronique, do you want to give us the details of what it is that we need to discuss?
My pleasure. So I circulated to everyone the section of the code. I can certainly pull that. I'm just working in between two screens. But basically, the legislation requires that the committee meet 4 times a year, as well rotate between designated planning district commissions. So I did receive a number of questions regarding the 4 times a year meeting requirement, and we wanted to discuss that.
So as it seems that so far, the improvements that have been agreed upon to 81 are well on their way, a number of them being completed and the work being ongoing and thankfully not too badly damaged by the pandemic. It seems to us that perhaps we don't need to meet physically 4 times a year. If we change that to meeting 2 times a year, it's a lot less burden on all of us to do the traveling. I still would like those 2 meetings a year to be in different areas of the Commonwealth. That seems to me to be fair. But do we have any other issues, any discussion, any ideas?
Madam Chair.
Now I heard Mr. Merrill. Who was the other? Was that Mr. Smoot?
I think Dixon may want to talk.
Okay. Mr. Merrill, go ahead.
Am I correct? The I-81 Corridor Committee is for the Commonwealth Transportation Board districts, which have 81. So there are 3 total districts included, correct? Bristol, Salem, and Stanton. Those are the only.
Yes, that's right. And who else was it who wanted to speak? I didn't catch it. Was it Delegate Hurst? Go ahead, Delegate.
Madam Chair, thank you. I agree with what you had mentioned. I, without necessarily any objection, we got the bonding done, so our cash flow is good for that. We're not worried about being able to have our suppliers and our builders, have the resources that they need to get it done. It seems as if from VDOT and the project engineer, they did a tremendous job coming up with it. I continue to talk to stakeholders who are extremely impressed with how we've been doing this work so far. A lot of what we've done was to set it up from a policy standpoint and make sure that the funding was behind it. A quarterly meeting as opposed to a biannual meeting, I don't think has much difference because we're really in an oversight position here right now, making sure that everything's turning along. And then if we need to make some decisions and changes, considering that the scope of this work is 10 years and not a lot of these projects before you can even have a shovel in the ground take years of pre-planning. I think that it would be appropriate for us to go to twice a year. I think that that's a good recommendation.
Thank you, Delegate Hurst. And also, there's nothing in this proposal that would preclude us meeting more than 2 times a year if that turns out to be necessary.
Madam Chair. This is Ray Smoot.
Yes, sir.
I fully agree. If any of us believe something arises that requires a meeting, we can be in touch with you and discuss it and make that request. And given particularly now the limitations that we all have to observe, I would hope that the General Assembly would be willing to move to a requirement of 2 meetings per year. I recognize that we can have more if we need to.
Yeah, Madam Chair, related to Mr. Smoot's comment, I'm in favor of the recommendation to go to 2. But was there anything in the enabling legislation or the budgetary language that required 4 meetings that we would be required to go back to the legislature or to the governor to get approval?
We do have to go back to the legislature. We have word from Delegate Sickles on the Appropriations Committee that the belief is that we can slip this into the budget language and that this does not have to be a full-fledged bill, which is good news in this session. Bernice, am I correct?
Yes. There we go. For some reason I kept clicking mute and it wasn't unmuting. Yes, you're correct.
is there any further comment? Is the committee satisfied with the discussion at this point, or is there further comment?
Madam Chair.
Delegate Wilt, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Forgive me if we've already addressed it, but do we need to amend it as well to allow for virtual meetings like we're doing? I mean, I think the original language talked about, and you just mentioned about us having to travel the district, meeting in person, but obviously we haven't done that the last couple of times, but I just, as a technicality, just wondering.
So Delegate Wilt, it's my understanding that it is the governor's executive order, the emergency order of we are under this, the pandemic rules right now. And that's what allows us to meet virtually right now. I believe that there's nothing in the original legislation that says that we can meet virtually. So as far as I know, the suggestion right now is it has nothing to do with changing that we would continue to have to meet in person once the pandemic emergency is finished. Once again, I ask you to double check me, Ronnie.
You are correct. You are correct. So it basically will require for the meetings to rotate between planning districts 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then if there is a change, then obviously each meeting will try to find a location. The only challenge before was these meetings were heavily attended and it was standing room only. So we'll just have to do a little bit more digging to find a location. But yes, you are correct.
Delegate Wilt, did you want to explore continuing the meetings virtually, or are we okay with physical meetings once the pandemic emergency is over?
Yeah, Madam Chair, that's fine. That's a great explanation. And I'd forgotten that we're doing it because of the executive order. Once that goes away, then we're back under the legislation. So I'm good.
Are there any further comments from the committee? Hearing none, I guess at this point we will go to any public comment if there are any members of the public who would like to comment on this discussion.
At this moment, there are no public commenters on the line.
Thank you. All right, then in this case, do I hear a motion on the suggestion to change the meetings from 4 yearly meetings to 2 yearly meetings in person? Do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair, from Lexington, Virginia, the center of the valley, and I would make a motion that we adjust to 2 meetings per year, and glad to host you all in Lexington.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion properly seconded. All those in favor of switching from 4 annual meetings to 2, please say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? Yes, sir.
But we do need the legislative concurrence to do this, correct?
Right. You're absolutely right. Right. So Mr. Smoot is absolutely right. We are actually voting to approve this budget amendment. Do we have to retake the vote, Ronique, or are we okay?
I think we should retake it just to make sure.
All right, I will correct myself. All those in favor of a budget amendment requesting that we change the number of meetings for this committee from 4 annually to 2 annually. Actually, do I hear a motion on this?
So moved.
So moved.
All right, properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, The motion passes, and we will go ahead with the budget amendment. Sorry, I smile every time I think of this as a budget amendment, but I wish all budget amendments could be hopefully so simple. I believe that is all that was on our agenda today. Is there any further business? All right, hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Frank Friedman with a second.
All right, thank you for that. We have a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting, and thank you all for being here, and we will keep you updated and see you next time.